Hello, and welcome to the First Issue Club. We are your weekly comic book reading podcast, and you know we love those first issues, just like Sue Storm. We all love us a good read. It's a special episode today. Why, you ask? It's Leap Day.
Oh, no.
Here's my issue with you, America. I'm addressing the nation. This is the First Issue Club address to the nation. As I hold up my drink close to my head.
As you do
I
when you
feel
make it,
yeah,
when
this
you
is the
address
thing.
the
The
nation.
more drunk you get, the higher your drink should be. And I feel like really drunk people are like this when they're talking.
Yeah.
A little prop comedy for the YouTubers. Why aren't we getting just wrecked on Leap Day? It comes around once every 4 years.
Yeah.
It's an extra day.
It's a free one.
We've got way dumber excuses for partying.
Yeah.
Right? This one seems like a big one. That should be like a day to go out and like
If
get
ever there was
lit.
an excuse to have the purge,
Yeah, today
this be it the day.
today's the day that doesn't count. It's extra. Like go fucking wild today.
Taxes don't count. Marital contracts, null and void.
Honestly, so in the States we do this like tax-free weekend thing. They should move tax-free weekend to Leap Day.
Yeah.
And just have like Black Friday chaos like this. I think that would be so much fun.
Can we just start with like getting the day off work and go from there?
Yes.
Even so, I'm at work today, and nobody's like,
Gotcha.
hey, it's Leap Day. That's fun, right? And the whole day, I'm like, I kind of wake up and I'm kind of excited. I'm like, ooh, February 29th, la-ti-da, look at us.
Opposite day. You have your outfit planned.
I know, it felt kind of like special, and then I was like, nobody cares. It's Leap Day.
The people born on Leap Day care because their day only comes around once.
And is that a great idea for a comic book? That guy is born on Leap Day.
Oh,
Happens to a lot of people.
yeah, it's probably not a fun comic book.
All it
Okay.
means is that when you turn 16, you're actually 4.
You're 4 years old.
Can't drive.
That's right.
Legally can't drive.
If you were born on Leap Day, which day would you celebrate your birthday? February 28th or March 1st?
June 15th.
You're just going to skip it
Just seems like
to a half year
Just
thing.
seems like a fun time to have a birthday. July
Andy?
4th.
I would want March 1st.
March 1st, okay. Because February 28th happens in the time continuum of a leap year, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the next day that's your birthday.
Yeah.
It should be, in my opinion, March 1st.
It only makes sense.
Yeah,
Logical.
Yeah.
So
You
two
don't
out of
go-
three of us have logic.
You don't go backwards. I didn't get my answer.
You said June 15th.
Is that not forward in time from February? Logic dictates that I'm correct. I'm Greg.
I'm Vargas.
And I'm Mike. Thanks for joining us. You're doing us a solid.
Yeah.
True.
You're really doing us a solid.
That's very true.
Hopefully we're trudging up the hill the rest of this episode. We're going to talk about a handful of first issues. Per usual, Vargas has done the heavy lifting for us and has read the majority of comic books this week.
Mm-hmm.
Such as the essence of First Issue Club, we're going to dive into each of those and talk about which ones are a good onboarding experience, which ones were fun, and which ones maybe you can skip. You know, we try to be positive. We don't normally do the skip thing, but I was trying to give a spectrum.
Unless it's
of
really, really
possible
rotten,
takes.
we haven't done a skip in a while.
Yeah, every once in a while we read a comic book that offends our sensibilities, and that's like really the only time
We stay pretty positive here, but
Yeah.
there's sometimes we just have to point out egregious behavior in the community.
We've also had times, I feel like, where we've had fun with something, and a creator will listen to the episode
yes.
and be like, you guys didn't like my comic. And we normally do, and it's just the way the conversation comes out. It's like we got a kick out of something,
Yeah.
and then laugh a bunch about that. And
Yeah. We usually improv off the funniness of like a situation we think of from the comic,
yeah,
and creators get confused. But
Except for today, we're shitting on all of
yeah,
them.
every book we read was crap.
all right. Before we do comics, we're gonna do a little comic book news. We've also got a Patreon, and we normally share fun things we got throughout the week on the Patreon.
Yeah, like a show and tell.
Didn't do that this week, so I wanted to do my show and tell on the main episode because I got a whammy. I guess not a whammy. What's the opposite of a whammy? Whammy's bad, right?
You got
No,
big money.
yeah.
Whammies were bad.
Whammies are bad. That's from an old game show, folks.
I got a big money, big money, big money.
Yeah.
Not a whammy.
Yeah.
And I want to shout out Rabbit Comics.
Rabbit like the animals?
Yes.
Okay.
What did it sound like I said?
Rabid.
Oh, rabid. I've got a little bit of a cold, so some of my D's are coming out like D's.
You're Mike D.
Mike
now.
D.
D. Okay, what I did was I bought a retailer exclusive variant,
Mhm.
and I chose their CGC slab upgrade option, which
Whoa.
is something that a lot of... Do you not know what I'm going to share?
I didn't know that was an option from retailers.
Yeah, so every once in a while, retailers will be like, hey, we'll slab the book for you. You pay us a little bit more for like handling the facilitating of it.
Sure. Okay.
And especially when it's a retailer exclusive comic, it's like we'll just bypass opening these comics and ship them right to CGC, and we'll get a lot of 9/8s back, and we can just charge you a little bit of a premium to ensure you get a 9/8.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd gotten a discount code from them, and I was like, what's just something fun I can buy? Oh, an X-Men comic that there's only 500 copies of. That's a great thing. Does the discount code work on the CGC like add-on thing? But it was discounted. So I just submitted one to see what happened. And instead of a 9/8, I got a 9.9.
Wild.
I love that they won't give you the 0.1 to make it a 10.
So this is the second 9.9 I've ever gotten back from CGC, and I've sent like 100 books to CGC over my life.
Yeah.
And wild to get a floppy comic in a 9.9. The ones that I do have are magazines that, you know, are more square bound, have heavy cardstock covers, and are easier to get in a 9.9. Floppy comics, a lot more difficult.
9.7 at best.
I think 9 point, not even a grade.
Yeah.
And I was honestly surprised that Rabbit Comics sent this to me. That they weren't like, actually send in another copy to get graded so we can send this guy a 9.8 and let's sell the 9.9 on our eBay store or on our website for like $300 or whatever, because it's a 9.9 in a 1 of 500 comic book for a pretty big title. It's an X-Men comic. So really wild to get that. I thought it was really cool that they were like, yeah, send it this guy's way.
Have you seen any other grades on the census, the CGC census?
No, I haven't looked up the census.
I'd be interested
on
to
this.
see how well the others did, because
And this sometimes it can take a minute for the census to update too, I've found, because I've had books graded that didn't end up on there by the time they got back to me. And this book just came out, so it may take
check
a
back in like 5 years. It
minute.
should be updated.
We'll provide an update. And then I got, if you don't mind indulging me a little further,
Please, yes.
No.
first appearance of Black Tom Cassidy
Nice.
in X-Men number 99. This is only like my third double digits X-Men comic. But this one I scored for...
He's in a ratty 8.0.
It's an 8.0, which is pretty good,
Yeah.
I think, for... And the really cool cover.
Yeah.
Early Claremont stuff.
That's an 8, and my preacher is a 7. I'm going to lose my mind.
I know. It is funny, the stuff that, you know, makes a certain grade and doesn't. But I thought this one was particularly interesting on the deal I got, because this one sold for, like I said, $50 under what cover price listed as fair market value. And then a day later, another one sold for $40 under what was listed for fair market value. And the next day I checked cover price, the value for an 8.0 had dropped drastically. And the weird thing is the 7.5 worth more than the 8.0, and the 9 worth, you know, way more than an 8 or an 8.5. So it's funny how that, like, I think the adjustments on value and what's fair in the market is a little more fickle than maybe cover price would like you
To realize?
to believe, because it is so based on like individual sales with like comics like X-Men, you would think enough sell on a regular basis that you can have like a really good idea of what a fair market value is for this. But when just 2 sales like rock the price of something, it, makes you think like, yeah, maybe these are a little more fickle or in the moment.
They definitely are.
And I think it's a reminder too to say like, if there's a book you're looking for, like a classic, and I'm going to spend a couple $100 on this book that I've always wanted. And so you're going down to like a 6.0 or something. That cover price might tell you a 6.0 last sold for $300, but
eBay will.
But then a 7, sold for $100 less, right? And so everyone's got their 6s listed for the highest price a 6 sells for. Don't just check the last sales of one specific grade. Check around the general condition of the thing you're looking for, because you just can't base an end-all be-all value on a collection of pages that's like 50 years old on just the last couple sales, which it seems like a lot of times these aggregate value sites do, because not enough of them sell on a regular basis to keep like an actual fair price. There are times when it really works, especially for like hot buzzworthy comics that are being sold like crazy. And I love cover price, and I'll never, I get a lot of value, I think,
I will never besmirch them.
Paying for that service, but at the same time, I think that there are aberrations in the way it works.
I know you and I buy different ages of comics. You're looking for older stuff, but in the newer market, I would say your best bet is to go based on what a 9.8 sells for, because with newer books, though it's going to be the bulk of what graded books are going to sell for.
Yeah.
And then the lower grades there's just going to be less sales. So like when I bought my Marco Rudy variant of Moon Knight 1, I bought it for like $30 cheaper than what cover price said it would be. And the next time cover price updated, it had dropped to what my purchase was.
Yeah.
Because there was only one of those in a 9.6 or whatever that sold, right? Like, and the previous sale was probably that book to the other guy, like.
You tanked it. You tanked the market.
I did.
Yeah.
But
That's gotta feel powerful.
Think about all these people. I think about this all the time about books that I've got set aside in top loaders that I'm like, cover price says this is one of my most valuable books. But it might just be that no one's
sold one
in a long time. I have an Usagi Yojimbo book that said it was worth like $800 or something. And I was like, what? I couldn't find another one on eBay.
Yeah.
Sell one. So see what happens.
And I'm just like,
fuck up the market.
Is there a market for this? Like, why did one person pay $800 for it in 2018?
Stupidity.
Well, did they pay $800 for like a signed raw copy or something?
Yeah, did they pay $800 for a set of compendiums or like a full run?
Yeah.
Commissioned piece from Stan Sakai?
And the title of the post fell into their scoring algorithm.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like for the longest time, what was that Joelle Jones 50s housewife lady killer?
Lady Killer, yeah.
Yeah, that still says it's like a $500 book.
Yeah, it says it's a $500 book, and the last sale is a set of CGC 9.8 slabs for like the entire series.
Yeah,
not the actual value of the comic, and you wouldn't know that without doing some like eBay scrounging, because the raw copies sell for like $10.
Yeah, they're not anywhere near what it says for. So anyway,
but. You feel bad for people who are like, yeah, that book is rising in value like crazy. This app says it's worth $200. Someone's selling it for $100. Like, dang, I got a great deal. And then a week later, you see like, oh shit, one sold for $10. What the fuck did I do?
Never forget that comic books are art, and art is always only worth what the market dictates it's worth.
Sure.
Right? Like,
good to be level-headed about that.
Yeah, I mean, they all say $3.99 on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what they're worth. So take all of it with a grain of salt. Don't pay more than you're comfortable paying. for any book.
It's easy to get caught up in the moment with this stuff. You
Yeah.
see it a little more with like card collecting and the buzz and hype of like new
Yeah.
decks coming out and
FOMO kicks in real hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
All right, let's talk comic book news. Thank you for entertaining that.
No, you're welcome. Unfortunately, Emerald City Comic Con is just starting while we're doing the show, so the only breaking news we have from that is that it's Superman's birthday. James Gunn said that the movie is filming. They dropped Legacy from the title
Oh, they
of
did?
Superman Legacy, so it's just Superman. That's all we got
Good.
as far as, earth-rattling news.
And Vincent D'Onofrio is not going to be at
Planet
Planet
Comic-Con,
Comic-Con.
which that only affects people that are going to Kansas City Planet Comic-Con.
What do you got, Mike D?
I have that Marvel Must-Haves is coming out next week. Have you heard about this book? They're doing free comics on a semi-regular basis now
Mm-hmm.
called Marvel Must-Haves, and it's like a big 80-page comic that collects like 3 key issues.
Whoa.
Whoa.
And the first one is next week, and it's got the cover of Spider-Man, Deadpool,
Uh-huh.
that team up that happened maybe like 8 or so years ago.
The Joe Kelly one?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 other, key issues grouped in there. So I thought that was cool, something to look out for.
So the books are free.
I bet they go quick. Yeah, they're free and they're just they got to be like the size of a previews, right?
So the speckers will be there right when the door opens to take all of them and sell them online.
Well, yeah, you wonder if there's going to be like a market for them, or if they're just maybe printing so many of them that
Hopefully that's the
Yeah.
case.
This is where eBay sellers will be like rare, limited release, free comic,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
And then I think you find like there are some comic shops that are like, I'll just put the stack out on the shelf, and then there's other ones who
Covet them.
will tuck them away and only give them to certain people and maybe make them a little harder to get until we figure out if they're worthless or have some value to some people. But I think the idea is to build hype surrounding just general Marvel Universe stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
Specifically, it sounds like these first 3 stories that they picked are related to things that have shown up in the MCU. So with this Deadpool Spider-Man crossover thing, it's like we just had a couple Marvel movies come out that were like Spider-Man adjacent. Deadpool is going to come out soon. Maybe we get some tease to Spider-Man in the Deadpool movie.
I did see in the back of the most recent Marvel previews, they're re-releasing a bunch of Deadpool stuff, obviously for the new movie, and they branded the Deadpool core Omni as Deadpool verse.
Oh, so spoof on Spider-Verse. Yeah.
So that's interesting that they would do that.
Yep. Everyone's going to get their own multiverse comic.
Finally.
Oh, God damn it. I can't wait for
There's
the
al-
Snoopy verse.
The funny thing is it's already been spoofed several times,
Yeah.
right? Like Harley Quinniverse thing, which I
Yeah.
thought was very funny, was
Yeah.
a send up on Spider-Verse.
Old Lady Harley.
An Old Lady Harley was great, yeah. So,
Okay. That's cool.
I don't know. But yeah, rad that Marvel's doing that.
The free comic is
Yeah.
cool. Like,
Pick up a copy if you can, and I love that it's just like massive.
yeah. Hopefully that gets to the right people, which is new readers.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah,
know,
new readers, like maybe kids. I don't know if like how mature that Deadpool Spider-Man comic was, because it's been like almost a decade since I read it. But
Yeah. I don't need some stinky white dude getting in there and taking 10 of these things and trying to resell them.
It's going to happen.
It always happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, anyway. If you see that at your local shop, speak up. Be like, hey, those are for kids, man.
Those aren't for you. Not
Yeah.
all of them. You can have one.
Stinky.
yeah, they're for. I want one, right?
But you're not stinky.
They're for me, but I'm not hoarding a pile of them.
Yeah.
How many of these can I take?
You? 0.
Yeah, if you ask that question, you don't get
It's
one.
immediate 0.
Yeah. Okay, I saw this article headline, and forgive me if you know this and it turns out to be clickbait or something,
Okay.
but at least sounds newsworthy.
This is the setup here.
Alan Moore publishing his last comic this year. Have you guys heard that?
I saw the headline, but I didn't click on it.
I think the idea is that he's had this collaboration comic with several other creators that he's rolled with over the course of his
It's
career.
called the Alan Moore verse.
It's called The Moon and Serpent Bumper Book of Magic.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Watchmen Babies.
Watchmen babies.
Who watches them at nap time? Love a good Simpsons reference.
Yeah, I really
Thank
like
you,
that.
Vargas. So is he? What do we know if it's a? Because here's where my concern is. The same thing happened when everyone was just like, Bill Watterson's coming back with a new book, and everyone immediately was just like, woohoo, new Calvin and Hobbes. And it turns out he was just illustrating someone else's series, and it was not great. My thing is just like, what involvement does... Because Alan Moore has been pretty vocal about telling comic books to fuck off.
Look, Alan Moore has written a lot of comic books.
I made Mike so upset he got up and left.
His most recent comic books are not good.
Sure.
He does not write good comic books anymore.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
He should stop writing them.
That's why Frank Miller shouldn't be doing covers anymore.
Correct. He should not. It's a good thing that he is retiring while he can still has his mental faculties.
Okay.
But this magic book of magic and spheres or whatever it's called.
Just wait till Grant Morrison gets that way. You're going to be devastated.
I'm going to be like, retire, Grant, please.
Please transform into the ball of energy that you're supposed to.
Ascend. It sounds like it's a collection of weird little collaborative
It
things.
sounds like a kid book.
Some of it is like prose. Some of it is side
Cons.
stories. Some of it are like, poems and think pieces. I think it's probably going to be massive because apparently they've been kicking this around for like decades.
Oh, so this is like a traveling pants at the Yaya Sisterhood
I
type
think
of
I think it's
collaboration.
probably going to be a lot of just like we were both at like a con or something
Yeah.
together in like 1999, and this person illustrated this like really cool one-off page for me, and then I wrote like a
Story about
story to it that's on the complimentary page, and then there's going to be some other like little collaborative comic pieces. I don't know that for sure, but looking at some of the sample pages and some of the description of it being like kind of a mixed media prose / comics / poetry sort of a thing, it just strikes me as something that'll be like an interesting coffee table book.
Sure.
For Alan Moore heads.
That's just like, yeah, here's like 20 years of like thoughts and ideas and stuff like that.
It'd be. I'm interested. I'm interested to see who is on the collaboration list.
Yeah. I think it'll be cool.
Yeah.
We'll see. I
I won't go that far, but
you guys
I'm
can buy it
interested.
for the $75 that it will end up costing.
$75 on a good day. That book's gonna be so expensive.
It'll probably be pretty expensive. Okay, next I saw Josh Gad was writing a comic book. Do you
Yeah,
know
I
who
saw
Josh
it.
Gad is?
He's that comedian?
Comedian, singer.
Is he
he's
a comedian?
Yeah. He was in
He was in Cats, right?
Book
was
of
in-
Mormon.
He was in Cats, Book of Mormon. He was.
Was he in Cats too?
I don't know.
Yeah, he played the titular cat.
Did he?
Greg just went with it like it was fact, and he
Well,
did.
no, I think he was in Cats because Cats is a musical,
Yeah,
and like Josh Gad's very good at singing. But he's Olaf from Frozen. He
Oh,
is.
yeah, there. Sure.
He was in like the
Frozen.
He's in the HBO series where they're like on a cruise ship that's in space.
is the Cats thing real?
I don't know.
It's either him or James Corvin.
Oh, it's James. It's the
Oh, was in the movie.
Yeah.
The
for
movie,
Cats, not
The
yeah.
Taylor Swift
not the
Cats.
real Broadway show.
Yeah, not the.
Oh,
real
okay.
Broadway
No, sorry.
show.
Nope. There was some crossed wires there.
Release the butthole cut, though.
Finally.
Do we need to explain that, or does everyone listening to First Issue Club?
I want to leave it a mystery.
Yeah,
I wanna leave it a mystery.
So Google the butthole cut, I guess, and to try to explain that search history to your loved ones.
to the FBI. Okay.
Look, it was a real thing, okay?
So Josh Gad is entering the comic book sphere. Yes?
Yes, the character in the comic looks just like him.
I was worried. Write what you know.
This seems to be the new celebrity comic book thing is write yourself a pilot.
Yeah.
Pair yourself with a well-respected comic book writer and then get this published on an independent publisher that lets you keep some, if not all, of the rights to this. So we just had Andy Samberg do this with Rick Remender for Holy Roller, which was a fun comic book.
Yes.
And, I've read the first 2 or 3 issues of it and really enjoyed it. So
It's great.
This is something that I think, like, isn't necessarily...
Yeah. Also, the guitarist from Fall Out Boy is
Yeah.
a writer on that book.
Yeah.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize
It's
that.
a weird
Yeah.
conglomeration of artists on that.
So I do kind of feel like they've found a winning combination of how to handle these celebrity things so they aren't so eye-rolly moving forward.
Well, they still get them from me.
I think that Berserker, which was the Keanu Reeves one, got a lot of criticism
Yeah.
for being like just a tentpole for Keanu Reeves to make some movies, partially because of the way they handled the Kickstarter, which people weren't very happy with.
Yeah. It's
That-
such a confusing Kickstarter.
It seemed like it was the only way to get and read this thing and support like a Matt Kent book that you were gonna like be excited about, and then you overpaid for like a trade that ultimately came out in comic book form anyway.
Before I got mine in the mail.
Before you even got the Kickstarter, reward.
Fucking cheesed off.
I think there's a handful of things that happened with Berserker that just soured the whole thing for people. When in reality, probably kind of a fun comic book, right?
Yeah.
Did you not
I
read
mean-
it?
I read the first few issues of it and then fell off.
The trades are it's not bad.
Yeah.
It'll be an awesome anime.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
Like
great.
visually, it'll be stellar.
Yeah.
Because the action sequences in Berserker are crazy.
Yeah.
Are just
Yeah.
crazy. But it is. I mean, there's no other way to say this. That is Keanu Reeves.
It was written that way.
Yeah, I know, but like
Yeah.
it's just that's why I get so kind of crunchy about it. It's just like, yes, that's Keanu Reeves as Berserker. Yes, this is Josh Gad as whatever the fuck he's gonna be. It's like it is you like pitching yourself for either
Yeah.
a future project or something.
So Josh Gad, his comic's called The Writer. His character in the book is the titular writer,
Oh, okay.
and it sounds like he's writing takes on classic fantasies, and somehow, as things often do,
Oh, is he brought into the world?
fantasy and reality collide, my friends.
Did he make a wish?
Can
and
you
the
imagine?
pen and paper came to life?
The cover of the first issue, which is out for pre-order, is like him bursting through a page of something. So it sounds like it's going to be one of those sort of things that is like folklore come to life, and then the writer,
Night at the museum.
this modern writer trying to do a take on public domain stuff is like thrown into it.
Yeah.
What's that? There's that.
Steamboat Willie.
Not Steamboat Willie. There's some show called
Wishbone.
It's like an enchanted sort of thing where they take like old folk tales and
Yeah.
classic Robin Hood type stories and make them like a CW drama.
Oh, are you talking about the Disney one?
I don't think Disney makes it. I think it's kind of dark.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it's the live
Grimm?
action. No, it's the live action.
It's a live action TV show.
Yeah, Grimm?
Grimm. I think that's what I'm thinking of. Is it? That's just Brothers Grimm
Yeah.
Yes.
stories.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an older TV show.
Yeah. It
I was
kinda-
thinking
That went
once
on for way too long.
Yeah.
God damn, how many seasons of Grimm were there?
I was thinking of Once Upon a Time. That's the Disney one. Or the
Same realm.
I
The
don't know what
Disney
that
characters
is.
are like in real life.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's already out?
Yeah.
I think so.
It's done and
Like
been-
Goofy's
been
all like
wrapped.
strung out. And
No, it's like
you look spare a buck, buddy.
oh my god. It's like Aladdin and stuff are like all in this town. But they're like
any change?
Jesus Christ. I'll suck your dick for a score.
Oh, hey, whoa, let's not go blue.
Hell, let's chill out.
Man, you were
He's
thinking
an
it.
American treasure.
Too far,
There's
Andy.
a point where you can think it and then you say it. My God.
Christ.
Oh boy, sorry folks.
Yeah, we'll have to mark this one explicit.
Oh, unlike the other one.
Would you like to address Goofy, or are we waiting that for another episode?
Jesus.
I wear this dog collar because I'm a sub.
I'm a simp. Okay, we can only riff on that
What
for
else?
so long.
What else you got, Mike?
Okay, the last thing that I have that I thought was cool was whoever got the rights to do the Conan comics now, which is like
Titan.
an ever-changing carousel of just like random fucking publishers
No,
that
it's not Titan.
It is Titan.
Is it still?
I don't think it is.
Because it's
actually.
Savage Sword just came out this week.
It's on Sumerian.
I think the company that has been hawking the rights to it for the last like
Yeah.
50 years
Just found out it's a badger
was
who doesn't
like
know what he's
was
doing.
like, why don't we publish our own comics? I think that's what happened.
Oh, I thought is it? I'm
To
gonna look it
publish
up.
this
Lord.
stuff. Okay, so in any case,
Yeah.
they're bringing back Roy Thomas, who
Why?
wrote the like original Savage Sword stories
Okay.
and kind of brought Conan back into modern pop culture, right?
Mhm.
Like I think he's single-handedly responsible, or those comics are responsible for us knowing and caring who Conan is today.
It's still Titan.
It's still Titan,
Still
okay.
Titan, okay.
Sorry
Didn't
for the
we
mislead,
just
folks.
Stop talking about
I apologize for the mislead on Titan. This
Frank
guy doesn't
Miller.
apologize for
for Goofy being a
Bluto
kinda-
eating you out. Or whatever he said.
First of all, Bluto and Goofy are two different creatures on the spectrum of Disney characters.
So he said that he's got a couple things that never came to fruition on his original Savage Sword
What
stuff.
What does
So-
Conan have left to do?
So he was like, that'll be fun to kind of return to that lore and tie up some loose ends, or like contribute to something that like
Yeah.
I was instrumental in establishing the canon of early on. I think it's cool. You guys are immediately hating on it.
Was there
but
ever like a
I think
Conan
it's cool.
2099?
Yes, a single issue of Conan 2099 came out.
Dang it, never mind. Sorry, Roy. That idea's done. Conan babies.
Conan baby.
Conan babies. What's
Anytime a publisher brings back,
Okay, here's my. I need to explain
He's searching
myself.
for another bit.
Here's my mindset. Here's where I've been for the last
Now,
week.
this is rich with
Here's where I've been.
possibility.
Here's where I've been for the last week. I've never watched the TV series Seinfeld ever.
Really?
Ever. So
This has got to be your biggest, like, people give you shit for it, and you're like, eye roll.
I've never
you-
told anyone.
do you-
I've never told
Oh, you
anyone
until now?
until right now. So I started it this week, episode 1, season 1. So I'm going through Seinfeld. So I'm in Seinfeld like, not Jerry. So that's where I'm at right now. With
Don't be discouraged by the first season, or maybe even like the first half of the second season.
I love the first season so far. I think it's great.
If you love the first season, you're gonna think this is the best show ever created. I mean, the first season is kind of hard to watch after you realize
the genius of the show.
the genius of the show. It's really like unbelievable.
The first season has me chuckling pretty good. So.
Yeah. Now I want to go do a rewatch.
I'm only on episode 6, so
Are you streaming it on something?
Netflix.
Netflix has it.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. It's such a good show.
Catch up with me. I'm on 6.
Yeah, I've watched it through several times. So,
Really? How many seasons are there?
7, I think.
I don't like Seinfeld, so
Really?
You don't like Seinfeld?
no.
Wow. I feel like that's rare, especially for people our age.
He's a Simpsons guy.
You got to give me a take.
I just don't.
You don't have a take. You just don't like it.
No. I've watched like 3 episodes and none of them have ever been funny.
Watched
Oh,
30
wow.
episodes and none of them have been funny.
Can you tell us which ones? Like, do they?
I know I've seen the Soup Nazi one because that's the one everybody quotes, and I'm like, that was not funny.
There is a thing with a lot of pop culture stuff
Mm-hmm.
where the quotability of it gets so popular that it transcends anything it could have ever come from. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yes.
So I could see someone watching that episode and being like, what? That's it? Especially out of context of like
The time it.
having grown a love for the characters and the time that it happened is especially pertinent, right?
Yeah. No Soup for You is like our generation's My Wife. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right.
Like it's been
No, I think
so overplayed.
My Wife is our generation's version of My Wife.
But I also think there are jokes and sayings in movies that are like common go-tos,
Mhm.
but that the joke seems very trite now. But the first
Yeah.
time it was done,
was revolutionary.
Had people rolling. And now when you go back and watch those things, that's completely lost. Like, to us, it's always going to seem trite.
So that's where I'm at. That's where my journey is in life. Back to comic books.
Oh, do we have any more news?
Well, I think this will lead into regular comic book stuff.
Yeah, this is a good place to start. So I picked up this preview from my LCS for a publisher called Magma, and we found out that this is a spin-off, right, from
So
Heavy Metal Magazine.
this was through a partnership with Heavy Metal Magazine.
Okay, but
that
they're their
Magma
own publisher
Comics, Yes.
now. Okay.
Yeah. But Heavy Metal helped them publish their first couple series, I think, or something like that. It came out in 2020.
Well, okay, so it seems that they're striking out on their own,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like they're swinging pretty big for a relatively unknown publisher.
Yeah.
The two series that I want to highlight from here, The Principles of Necromancy is the first one. Writers Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. They wrote that big Captain America thing.
Yep.
Done a lot for Marvel and DC.
Doing Guardians of the Galaxy right now.
Thank you. Yeah, Guardians.
They are a writing team. I always think it's funny when it's like,
Yeah, they're a
these
team.
guys never split up.
Yeah.
They I've never seen one of them write something that
Why
the other
break up the
person
team?
wasn't on. Yeah.
So it seems to be a medieval action story, if you can kind of see that on the YouTube video.
It looks awesome.
The art's great, but it's about the first necromancer. It's about this guy who's trying to defeat death
Hell yeah.
in medieval England.
Me.
And
Immortality? Dope.
Yeah.
it looks
Living forever? Uh-huh.
it looks sick as hell. I'm stoked about that. The other one that I thought looked really cool is called Scale Trade, and it appears to be about someone who is trying to stop dragon poachers.
Yeah.
In a world where dragons are real, he is trying to defeat them you would defeat an elephant poacher.
Yeah. I love that. Like a PETA.
people are trading in dragon fangs
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
or scales.
and he's trying to stop them.
Sorry. I should have said scales.
I mean, it's in the goddamn name.
Fucking idiot.
So
is the name something with scales?
the Scale
The
Trade.
skill trade.
Oh, scale trade. Okay.
So, and that's by Steve Orlando, right? So,
Steve.
Ever heard of him?
Steve-O.
Steve-O. I'm Steve-O, and I'm writing a comic.
Brown, down, down. Every time you open one of Steve Orlando's comics, brown, down, down.
This is me getting cut by a comic book that I wrote.
Ding, 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 ding.
Wow, we are on one today.
I love it. Okay, one of the things we haven't covered yet that this reminded me of, because that book was a spin-off of Heavy Metal Magazine, is Penthouse Comics. Which, has that not come out yet, or did that just come out?
it came out last week.
It came out last
week,
week.
yeah.
I'm getting a copy of it in the mail, and I'm just interested to...
Hide it from your mom.
Yeah, I know. Don't look, wife. These are my special comics. I'm just interested to see what it is, because a lot of the creators on it are...
Yeah, it's a curiosity thing.
Fucking
I want to
awesome.
see what the format is.
Are you not curious?
No,
You know what? I'm surprised I didn't buy one.
I'm shocked that you two are
We've
that
flipped.
Greg didn't have one and you've got
Yeah.
one in the mail.
Yeah, I'm usually the horny guy.
I am romantic for throwback stuff that, again, the EC Comics thing.
Uh-huh.
I'm into Oni going back and taking a turn at doing those. I love that Tom King and Elsa Chartier are doing Love Everlasting, which is a cool throwback to romance comics that we don't see anymore.
Yeah.
This to me is another one of those things that was just Penthouse used to do comic books that were kind of alternative, druggy,
Yeah.
wacky stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now you hear Penthouse and it's synonymous with smut, but are the comic books going to be... It's not like Penthouse Comics is one story all the way through. It's 15 different mini comics done by different creatives in an anthology style. And I'm wondering if it's going to be druggy and trippy. Are these all going to be really sex positive and everything's related to sex? Are some of them going to be sci-fi and it's more of a nod to something like heavy metal where it's epic fantasy and maybe it's like starring characters that are babes.
A
Like,
bare-breasted woman.
I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know. I think originally it was just mature comics were here, and maybe that's just like the coarse language being used or the mature subject matter,
Yeah.
and not necessarily that it's very horny. But obviously, as a gimmick, a lot of the covers were like polybagged and kind of risque. So
I think
I'll-
two of the
I'll-
covers were AI.
I'll cover it. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
I almost wish I wouldn't have bought it now because I try to like really not support that stuff.
I think it's just two of them. Like, not all of them, but
Hmm.
yeah, that's what I heard.
That sucks. Boo.
Also,
AI.
a comic I didn't know that The Last Barbarian on Image Comics,
Yeah.
all their covers are AI.
Boo.
Yeah, that
so
blows.
weird. Anyway,
Uh,
so Mike, we'll do a full review on the Patreon of the Penthouse comic when it comes in.
Mike will do a review
You've
from his
already
bathroom.
kicked me to the Patreon. I'll talk about it on the main feed. I don't care what you think.
Well, to show the pictures, we're gonna need to put it on the Patreon.
Oh, I understand now. It's
I wasn't trying to say that it was subpar
got it.
content.
This is premium.
It's
content.
triple X content, so you
Got
have to
it.
go to the paywall.
Got it. Yeah.
So,
First issue club OnlyFans.
so Magma Comics is the
Yeah,
publisher that I wanted to.
and the FOC is
highlight.
ending this week.
Yeah, they've got here. I'll put it up on the video if you can see all that. They've got release dates for their first 3 books. I will definitely be covering both of those. They have another one in there, Silicon Bandits, which is like he builds robots to rob banks or
Yeah.
something along those lines.
Sick.
Also sounds super interesting. But
This is honestly great tip because these books on these sorts of publishers get allocated to a really weird part of pre-orders because they're smaller publishers
yeah,
and get ordered low. And when you've got like Jackson Lansing and
Jackson Lansing and
Colin Kelly, I got the names right, writing an indie book.
and
If they
Steve
were
Orlando.
and Steve Orlando, if they were writing these on any other publisher,
Yeah,
like Image, it would be ordered out the ass.
yeah.
Yeah.
And these books are going to be severely underordered for the talent that's attached to them. So
Yeah.
these are must pre-orders. I think if you're like, even if you're a specky or you just want to make sure you get your hands on them, I'd pre-order them.
Yeah, I
They're
think
gonna
so,
I
too.
think they'll sell out.
Yeah, I think they all look super interesting. So
Unless you have a comic shop owner locally that is like always gung-ho about like ordering really weird stuff that might not sell,
yeah.
which is pretty rare.
We'll have to make sure Doug hooks us up.
All right, so books that I read. I know Greg read at least one, right?
I
You
read the new
Spider-Punk?
Spider-Punk by Cody Ziegler, and it was good. It was the classic Spider-Punk story where it's just, any kind of Spider-Man Elseworld thing. It is a Spider-Man story, slightly off-keel. All the characters are similar yet different. If you love Spider-Punk and the world that he came from, you're going to love this book. I thought it was really great and enjoyable. So please go check it out. Spider-Punk.
Cody Ziegler getting more and more Spider-Man stuff. He's written a couple issues of Amazing Spider-Man when they've done like the Zeb Wells tie-ins and stuff, but he's getting more and more big titles or titles adjacent to big titles. So I think he's going to be somebody that we're going to see writing like a massive book soon. Because people love his Miles Morales run too.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
I want to say he is one of the co-creators of Spider-Punk, right?
He's the creator of Spider-Punk.
Yeah, like he wrote that
hmm
that issue that
I think
he
so.
showed
Yeah.
up in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it
I didn't
too.
realize that.
I love that they just like do the punk spin on every character.
It's so
so
great.
much fun. Yeah.
And like in this, the lizard and the vulture make an appearance, and they're like actually animal turned humanoid creatures, and you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay, it's that kind of.
Yeah.
And then instead of Captain America, it's Captain Anarchy, and like Riot Heart
yeah,
instead of Iron Heart.
and Daredevil's a drummer.
Uh-huh.
She's got drumsticks.
Yeah,
And
it's
there's a cool Daredevil backup story at the end
Mhm.
too that I thought was neat.
It's just fun, and I love just that it can explore, a unique take on Spider-Man and like kind of make it its own flavor.
Everything is anarchy.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So is
God save Queens.
so is it cool to be like a goody two shoes Christian in this universe because everyone else is punk? Counterculture is like
Being straight edge.
being straight edge. Yeah.
I think it's mostly just like the DIY kids fighting the man.
Yeah.
And like who is
Okay.
the man? It's like
Got it.
Target and Dr. Oct.
Target.
Moms who make you take a bath or something.
Oh Lord. All right. I read Working Class Wizards on Band of Bards.
What?
Yeah, explain Band of Bards. Do you know anything about this?
I know that they
publisher?
are an indie publisher.
Okay.
And I have seen that name pop up a lot on X.
Oh,
Uh
love the Kirby crackle on this cover.
I know the cover is pretty sick, and I picked it up because it's like a heavy metal dude with an axe that kind of looks like a guitar,
Oh shit! No, yeah, it does.
right?
Wow.
And that's like the book too. It takes place in 1979 Chicago, in a world where wizards are real, and our hero is a barbarian, but he doesn't know it. And he's the only one that can wield magical instruments and defeat
You're a wizard, Harry.
the bad guys.
Cool. Oh, this is kind of fun.
It reads very much like an indie book. You know, it's packing
There's a lot packed in here.
it's packing a lot of lore and storytelling in what I'm sure is going to be like a 6-issue miniseries or something. But that's to its downfall that it doesn't get the space that it needs. But you can't get a story told like this, you know, on a Marvel comic.
I will say, for $5, there is a lot packed in here.
Yeah.
So
Their website's pretty cool.
you get a lot for your money. So I love that. Idea is cool, solid.
It says they're an independent publisher
Yeah, we got that.
formed in March 2021,
Uh-huh.
Wow.
based in Buffalo, New York. We are committed to publishing stories with a focus on representation, inclusion, and diversity. Did you get that from this comic? It's maybe tough in like a Norse.
Yeah, I mean, it's starring like, I mean, I guess there is one character who they specifically call out as being East Asian,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it stars like 2 white guys.
Okay.
But I mean, fun book, cool. You know, it's an indie story for sure.
Yeah.
If you like heavy metal and you like, you know, fantasy stuff, you're probably gonna like this book. I don't know. This is my first Band of Bards book, so I guess we'll see. Hopefully, it stays good.
When I first heard it, I thought this is a comic written by one of those like D&D podcasts or something.
Oh,
It
sure.
sounds like something like that.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Okay.
It's like, do I need to listen to 80 episodes of the show to get this book?
Yeah.
Or fucking cover of the week here.
Yeah.
What if Venom?
So I had to get this, but I was actually gonna pass on it. But it's What If Venom, came out on Marvel, and the first issue, it seems like it's gonna be an anthology where Venom infects a different Marvel hero or villain each issue. But I had to get it because the cover is John Boy Myers, who knocks it out of the park every time. But it's an homage to Savage She-Hulk #1, where she threatens to tear up all your X-Men issues.
Yep.
But in this one, she's venomized and threatening to tear up all your Venom issues if you don't read her comic book. So,
Great cover.
it's a fun story. It's a Jen story where she has insomnia. She saves Eddie Brock from becoming Venom, gets infected, doesn't know it, and she has insomnia where she's, you know, on the job 15 hours because she's a hardworking lawyer, and then wakes up super tired because, as we come to find out, she's being Venom, She-Hulk Venom at night.
Classic
She-Venom.
Spider-Man
At it again.
Storyline.
Yeah. So, fun story
Shin'em.
about She-Hulk being Venom. And Jake Lockley makes an appearance. So,
Hey,
10 out of 10 would recommend.
I saw some covers for this series because it's not just, you know, sometimes what ifs are like a one-off thing.
Yes.
They're doing a handful
Cool.
of what if Loki was Venom, what if She-Hulk was Venom, what if blah, blah, blah.
They did it like
Wolverine.
the Dark What If last year.
Yeah, What If Dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
There are homage covers to the old, like, there was a what if Deadpool got the Venom symbiote, and there's a Scotty Young cover for that that's kind of a popular cover and sells high.
Yeah.
And someone is doing an homage cover for that for every single issue of this. And they are done so close to the style of Scotty Young that I'm almost like, Scotty Young should be getting a cut of this.
Yeah. Or Scotty Young should be doing it.
Or Scotty Young should just be doing it, period. It's this weird line that I think we don't
Like an uncanny valley.
see crossed very often where like sometimes homage covers can almost feel traced over.
Yeah.
And it's like, is it still an homage cover? That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Do you know the Deadpool Venom cover I'm talking about?
That's not Scotty Young?
No, that's not Scotty Young.
Oh.
Matthew Waite.
But it has all the signatures. I think Matthew Waite is a guy who does recreations of stuff, but in like a kind of 8-bit style. So if you look close on that, it looks like it was done in like MS Paint.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Like,
can kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's his thing. But it looks just like Scotty Young's style. And I mean, like the teeth
The tongue.
and the tongue are like like line for line verbatim the thing. And I'm just like, I don't know, imitation, greatest form of flattery. It is an homage cover. It's not skirting around the fact that it's trying to be an homage cover.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you don't know, I would think Scotty Young's doing a different take on his own cover because it's really not in someone else's style.
No.
That's Scotty Young's style.
Yeah.
So that just, I don't know, that surprised me.
Yeah.
Interesting topic for you to debate at your comic shop.
I mean,
Hey, I heard on First Issue Club they were talking about this. What do
Yeah.
you think?
people are like, you listen to the fucking show?
You fucking nerd.
Those are the guys that want to fuck Goofy, right?
No, Goofy fucks us.
yeah.
Clear distinction.
Yeah, get it right.
Really important.
We're bottoms for Goofy.
That's a shirt.
Now that's a shirt if I ever heard one. Bottoms for Goofy. I'll bottom for Goofy any day of the week.
I'll power bottom for that fucking dog.
What's the difference between bottom and power
It
bottom?
means you throw it back if you're a power bottom.
That's what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're an eager receiver, we'll say.
I've never known what that meant. That makes sense, though.
Well, find Goofy. He'll show you.
Yeah.
All right.
We have to end this show now
Yeah.
unless we got anything else to say.
I just know that if you ever have questions about niche sex, you can always come to First Issue Club
Come on.
and Greg.
Yeah. Come on down in the club, we'll tell you. Jesus. This is a safe place.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us on another week of First Issue Club. If you need more places to find us or our Patreon, the details are in this outro.
If you want the VHSs explained, go to the Patreon.
Bye. First Issue Club is edited and produced by Mike DeStacy, Greg Lichtag, and Andy Vargas. Follow us on social media at First Issue Club, and check out our Patreon for videos, audio, and more at patreon.com/firstissueclub.